Dog food. 15 mistakes to avoid. You have been feeding your dog every day for years and you think you are doing the right thing. In reality, it is very likely that you are making mistakes. Indeed, most dog owners adopt bad behaviors without even realizing it. Unfortunately, this can be detrimental to your dog's long-term health. Here are the 15 most common mistakes you can make about feeding your dog. 1. Not including treats in his daily diet. When you reward your dog with treats, it is absolutely necessary to include them in his daily food ratio. Otherwise, your dog may become obese. 2. Feed him only meat. Dogs are not only carnivores, they are also omnivores, just like us. Therefore, he needs to eat meat, which is the basis of his diet, but not the only one. Indeed, he must also eat vegetables every day, sources of vitamins, minerals and fiber, carbohydrates, sources of energy, and vegetable oil, to avoid deficiencies in omega-3 and omega-6. 3. Poor food storage. Dogs can also get sick from food that has oxidized in contact with the air. It is therefore important to keep your dog's kibble, as well as the rest of his food, in clean, hermetically sealed bags or containers. 4. Leave his food out in the open. If your dog hasn't eaten his food after 3 hours, it's a good sign that he won't touch it. Many people make the mistake of leaving their dog's food in the bowl for several hours or even overnight. In fact, this can be dangerous for the dog because insects and other small animals can come and take an interest in his food, but also because food goes bad when left out in the open too long. It is better to throw the food in the garbage or keep it in the refrigerator. 5. Change his diet daily. Your dog's digestion is delicate. That's why it's recommended that when changing kibble, you make the transition over a minimum of 10 days. The fact that the new kibble, or the new food, is gradually incorporated into your dog's usual food allows him to assimilate it better. Otherwise, it could cause him more or less violent digestive problems, vomiting, diarrhea. So, as you can see, you should absolutely avoid changing your dog's diet every day or even every month because you need to give his body time to get used to it. 6. Do not wash his bowls. Whether it's his food bowl or his water bowl, it's necessary to wash them every day. Would you like to eat from the previous day's plate? If you don't wash your dog's food and water bowls regularly, bacteria can grow in them. Your dog could then get sick. 7. Don't look at expiration dates. Yes, dog food has an expiration date too. It is always written on a corner of the package and it is better to respect it, otherwise, your dog could quickly get sick. 8. Give him table scraps. Even though your dog may be very persuasive in getting you to lick the end of your plate or the food you don't want anymore, be aware that this is very bad for him. Beyond the fact that it makes him adopt bad behavior when you are at the table, the food intended for humans is, for the most part, harmful for the dog. This is particularly true of chicken bones or sweet foods. If your dog eats the leftovers too often, he could develop health problems. 9. Don't schedule his meals at a fixed time. Dogs are animals that like to have their own routine. Routine reassures him and gives him a framework. Therefore, it is strongly advised to feed your dog at a fixed time each day and to change these schedules as little as possible. In addition, think about splitting his meals to facilitate his digestion. Instead of feeding him once a day, opt for 2 or 3 meals spread out over the day, morning, noon, and evening for example. 10. Give him raw meat or fish. Even if your dog loves it, it's always best to cook the meat or fish before feeding it to him. Raw meat or fish often contains parasites that can lodge in your pet's intestinal walls and even cause death. 11. Buy cheap brands. While it's tempting to turn to premium supermarket brands when you're on a budget, it can be detrimental to your dog's health. Indeed, his good health depends above all on a quality diet. It's better to turn to more expensive brands that provide all the nutrients your dog needs. 12. Don't give him the right food. Your dog's food depends on his age, weight, health, and whether or not he has been sterilized. Therefore, you must choose a food that is adapted to your dog. For example, an older dog should not eat puppy food, and vice versa. Do not hesitate to ask your veterinarian for advice. 13. Feed him at the same time as you in the home. Your dog needs to have a certain hierarchy. He must understand that you are the leader of the pack and that he must obey you. If your dog is dominant by nature, it is even more important to always feed him before or after your meal. If he eats at the same time as you, he may think you are on the same level and try to assert your dominance. 14. Feed him as soon as he asks you. It sounds obvious, but just because your dog barks or paws at you with a terribly cute look on his face doesn't mean you should feed him. If you give your dog a kibble every time he asks for it, he'll end up asking for it all the time. And, believe us, that can get really annoying. 15. Feed him before going for a run. This is a mistake not to make. If you plan to take your dog for a walk, even a short one, don't feed him just before leaving. Give him his meal at least 2 hours before going for a walk and 1 hour after coming back. The reason? If he were to make a physical effort, however small, with a full belly, he could get a stomach twist. This means that his stomach could turn on itself and cause his death. This is also why it is recommended to give your dog's daily ration several times during the day.